Eat, Pray, Love Dinner Church is a fresh expression of church located in Southwest Florida. Focused on meeting both the physical and spiritual needs of the nuns and duns in our town, we meet weekly for a time of fellowship, worship, learning about Jesus, and prayer. We do all of this while sharing a meal with one another around a dinner table.
I come to Dinner Church because it's positivity, absolutely, and for the word, and just because of I just like to be alive and being around bright people.
I serve because I think it's important that we minister to people in unthreatening ways. A lot of times people don't want to go to church, but you can minister to them, especially over a meal, more so than you can, just preaching to somebody on the corner. It works. You get into the mindset where you think that it has to be a certain way. You know what I mean? That we have to have a pulpit, we have to have a choir, we have to have people sitting in the pews for that to be church. And what we see at Dinner Church is an opportunity for the people to become the church and to be able to impact people's lives just through relationship. And I think that's really important.
Well, I've seen God working through the ministry of Eat, Pray, Love and our entire Fresh Expressions ministry from the very beginning, because this whole movement begins with prayer and discernment and seeking God about where God would have us go to reach His people. And so from our very first Fresh Expression, we saw the Holy Spirit lead us, and we believe lead us to the exact right place. In our case, it's called the Suncoast community. And wouldn't you know it, doors started opening up left and right. First, we were able to care for children there, then some home Bible studies popped up, and then we were able to launch a dinner church in the community center located right in the heart of that community that our county identified as a place of great need, and they actually asked for help there. So when we first launched the dinner church, we gathered together just for a meal. But soon that meal formed a community around tables, and we were able to share pows and wows, some ways that the world had knocked us down, but some ways that God had showed Himself to be faithful to us. And this community began to gel together, not just because they could get a meal, but because they could have some friends around the table. And then we started the Jesus story, and we began to hear these wonderful stories about the ministry of Jesus and how He changed people's lives. And the life transformation began to happen around those tables, because we want to be on the front edge of what God has called us to do, to reach people who are far from Him and people that don't know and have not experienced His love. And this means we've got to get outside of the walls of the inherited or traditional church. And here's what happens when we do this. Then again, this wild spirit begins to form in the culture of the church as people are sent out, but they come back with news, just like in the book of Acts, of what God is doing out there. And before too long, what happens out there starts coming in here in this very sanctuary, and it lights people's souls on fire to hear these stories. And before too long, we see how the Holy Spirit is working in both places and in all places.
Man, I see Him working so many ways. I see the people that just absolutely were broken and lost and they didn't even want to be in this space with us. And now they call you, they show up every week. They're upset if you don't show up. They are just thriving and loving Jesus and loving every piece of what we're doing. I think what surprises me the most is what I get out of it, where, you know, I'm not just serving, I am being served and blessed so much as I see these people continue to grow and watch them just want to learn more about Jesus. They started a Bible study here, and like so many of them are staying after for the Bible study. It's just, to me, it's just so surprising how much they want Jesus and need Jesus.
I think I come into this thinking I'm going to be the teacher, and it's not always like that. A lot of times we have conversations with people that really do know who Christ is. We're just lost like we are. So, yeah.
Derek,
What?
tell me what you like about Eat, Pray, Love Dinner Church.
Oh, people nice.
That's true. Do you feel accepted here at Dinner Church?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, okay. And do you like it when you come in the door and you recognize people and people recognize you?
Yeah.
Yes. Does it feel like a family to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a time when I was like really dirt poor, and I came here to eat. And everybody was so nice and stuff that I just, you know, I get my Social Security now and everything, and I still keep coming. Well, I don't have another church that I go to on a regular basis. This is my once a week go to church thing. It's a rough neighborhood. When people are on the streets, there's violence, there's hunger, there's homelessness, and when they're here, everybody's well behaved. Surprisingly.
That's true. I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
My father was a Salvation Army preacher, so I got drugged to church by the ears every time the door was open. I had to do everything. Since I was a preacher's daughter, I had to do it for free where everybody else got paid, and I ended up being the wild child. So I left church. Never went back, didn't turned my back and went running, and really didn't care that much about church until I found this one. Because it feels like a big family, and nobody's judgmental like a normal institutionalized church. We love each other, we come together, we like to see each other. The pals and wows are good. We get to say what's bad in our lives, what's good in our lives. We get to pray. We get to hear Jesus' story or testimony. Tonight we got the missionaries, which is one of my favorites. So the love for God, the love for each other, the pastor. I love my pastor. And it doesn't matter where church is. To me.
In 2016, God called us to serve a neighborhood located in the second largest trailer park in the United States called Suncoast Estates. That is where Eat, Pray, Love Dinner Church began. And since that first meeting, nearly 6 years ago, we have seen people's lives transformed as they come to know Jesus. We have held weddings, funerals, and baptisms at Eat, Pray, Love, as well as Easter services, Christmas services, and everything in between. Eat, Pray, Love is church in every aspect. We feel that God has given us a vision to hold dinner church 7 nights a week in 7 different locations, so that lonely people in the 239 area code can make new friends and encounter Jesus around a meal table any night of the week. Currently, we are serving in 3 different neighborhoods, 3 different nights every week, and we know that God has plans for us to continue with dinner church in many different contexts in the future.